Good day, everyone. My name is Stewart. I'm the CEO of Orefinders Resources, ORX on the TSX.V. Very pleased to be here in March to update everybody on what's been going on corporately. Plenty has been going on the ground, plenty behind the scenes. We've got very strong cash position, working capital position as well of $8.5 million. And we're busy, and we've got $60 million committed by our joint venture partner, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, and they're drilling away. 50% more is going to be spent in the ground in 2022 than it was in 2021. And we've got a very unique situation where we've got such a strong cash treasury to deploy because it really doesn't have anywhere to go in our projects because 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 is spending that money. I'm here to tell you, obviously an update, but I think it's a great opportunity to show the value within Orefinders. And I sort of break it down here between what you get and what you pay for. Well, what you get, again, as I noted, we have $8.5 million in working capital, 6 of which is cash. And we are evaluating opportunities, strategic opportunities to deploy that. Relative to an enterprise value of 3.5. So that's a market cap of basic market cap of 12 million bucks. So I think we're one of the cheapest gold exploration development companies around. And we just happen to have an extremely diverse, safe portfolio, but also a land package right in the heart of Kirkland Lake. It doesn't get any safer, and one of the best places in the world to look for gold. And we've got our lowest share price since what I call the COVID low of April 20th, when we were 4 or 5 cents, just where we are today. Shortly after there, we ran to almost 25 cents with no fundamental difference in our company. So, that shows the inefficiencies in the market and hence the opportunity. I think this is a relatively low risk bet to invest in Orefinders today. Obviously, we're in the exploration business, which is a high risk business, but you got to look at things relative when you look at the value. And as I said, $8.5 million in working capital, $60 million committed from the 3rd largest gold mining company in the world, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞. We're in their backyard. We've got 3 strategic land positions, all within the Kirkland Lake district. We've got our Knight project, which we just finished drilling on. We've got our McGarry project, which is adjacent to the 𝐵𝐻, which was an 11 million ounce producer. We're drilling on that as we speak. And we've got our Murado project, which has got about 500,000 ounces at a gram in an open pit. Now, I think perhaps the most important aspect, which too often gets overlooked or underlooked, is the driven management. There's a management team behind the company, and of course, I've got a bias here as the CEO of this company, but we'll pat ourselves in the back on the group we've developed within the Ore Group, which really is almost synonymous with Orefinders, as Orefinders has exposure to virtually all of the Ore Group of companies. It's got 25 million shares in Mustango, 5 million shares in QC Copper, 5 million shares in American Eagle. And I'll note QC Copper gives us exposure to uranium and baseload, where that has gone from 5 cents to $1.50. It made a discovery with $20 million in cash. So there's really, all sorts of exposure, diversity, which is a great thing in this exploration business, because our core business is about making a discovery on our projects with 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 paying those bills. And then again, we're going to be deploying our treasury in a opportunistic and certainly accretive way at some point in time. We've been evaluating a lot of opportunities, and we're waiting for the right one. Sometimes just waiting for your wave is the best move, or maybe you could say it another way. Sometimes doing nothing is the best move and waiting for your wave. So last, we've got significant investment from Mr. Eric Sprott, as I noted, 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 and Osisko. So these groups know what they're doing. They see the value investing in Orefinders, and certainly I do as well. Just to speak to, again, this is to management. This is what our group has developed. Back in 2012, all we had was Orefinders, but we've developed from 1 company to 6. And Orefinders has been a beneficiary of that. And I think Orefinders will continue to be the beneficiary of that. So the story goes, we originally spun off QC Copper, acquired an asset within it, published a 100 million ton resource, copper gold open pit resource in Quebec, basically from 0 to 40 million and growing quickly, I anticipate, out of nothing. So that's an example of a really great deal that our team and Orefinders took advantage of. Orefinders, I remind you, owns 5 million shares of that company. QC Copper spun off Baseload Energy. Baseload Energy has $20 million in cash, 2 drill rigs spinning on its discovery in the Hook project. What a phenomenal success story that's been at the leadership of James Sykes. But QC Copper owns 11 million shares in baseload. It used to own 18, sold 7 million for $8 million. A real great example of opportunistic, well-timed, well-executed deals that me and the Orr Group has been behind. Expect Orefinders to continue to keep on doing that. And then, of course, Mustango River Resources, that was we own 25. When I say we, Orefinders owns 25 million shares in that company, got a phenomenal land position. It's drilling just the same. It has a $60 million earn-in agreement with 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, just like Orefinders. It's got a $7 million cash treasury. So all of the companies here are extremely well financed, extremely well managed, and busy with the drill rigs. That is where we are focused on right now, is execution and operations and trying to find something really interesting. So this is just, again, just a strategic investments, the diversity in the equities, but also our land package. And our land package is circled around the Kirkland Lake district. Because it is a world-class gold district by no other definition, over 40 million ounces of historical production, probably going to produce another 10, 20, 30 million over the next 30 years. 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 has the Macassa. It's the highest grade gold mine. There's the 𝐵𝐸radison, which is sort of on the goalpost of the district there, where we're dotted throughout those two goalposts, and we're very strategically placed. And we've got ounces in the ground on all these projects as well. This is what it looks like here. So this has to be updated now. This is all 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, but here's our Murado project, 500,000 ounces. Here is our McGarry, where we're drilling right now. It's got about 150,000 high-grade ounces beside the 𝐵𝐸radison, which is just poking its head over here, but it really should be highlighted because, as I said, it produced 11 million ounces, and today it's a 6 million ounce open pit, 1 gram style deposit, where the McGarry is extremely strategic, as is the Omega, which is about 600,000 ounces here, and Orefinders has exposure to it via its 25 million share interest in Mustango River. So we've got a really interesting and strategic footprint here in Kirkland Lake, which is now dominated by 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞, who are our joint venture partners. I think Orefinders is in a really unique situation. Here's our McGarry project. We're drilling it as we speak. It's our maiden drill program on this. It's located immediately on the Cadillac-Larder Fault, which is the controlling mineralized main fault in this area. There's many faults, but this is the main one. The Armistice mine, which is where the resource, the 150,000 at about 8 gram resource is located. We're looking for something new. We did a deep-seated IPMT survey, which we're now drilling upon. Again, this is a world famous mine, the 𝐵𝐸radison. We're looking for something similar that's never been found, perhaps on a secondary or tertiary order splay. This is the results of the geophysics we did last year. We've been waiting to drill this but finally we are doing it as we speak. This is ultimately, one of the main targets we're after here. It's a very strongly resistive anomaly, and this is what you look for, especially when it's along the Cadillac-Larder Lake Fault, as you can see right here. This is the type of core that we're pulling out. This is fresh core. This, as you can see, this is out of this drill program. A lot of, you can see heavily mineralized there, pyrite. We don't have any assays, but it's good looking core, and it's encouraging, especially when you see something like this and you see lots of pyrite, because oftentimes the more pyrite you see, the better. You want, 3, 5, 10% pyrite. That's often associated with gold. This is the style of rock you're looking for, but you never know until you get these assays back. But anyways, we're encouraged by these results. Our Knight project, we just finished our phase 2 drilling. It was a very delayed project from the assays. Everybody knows the assay labs have been painfully slow, but we finally got it back to follow up on some great results we had in phase 2. You can see 14 meters at 4 grams, 3 meters at 5 grams. We're really trying to extend the mineralization at depth below the mine. So this was a relatively shallow mine, only went to about 300 meters, and we're trying to prove that it doesn't get snipped out. We proved that in phase 1. In phase 2 results, we didn't get as interesting results, but still some fairly decent results, almost 5 grams over 5 meters, not too shabby. It just shows further continuation of the zone, which, continues to be interesting. And it is quite interesting because there's also a fairly large deposit just to our south, immediately adjacent to us, is owned by Aris, which is a well-financed group who's got a very interesting project in Colombia, but also doing a lot of drilling here. There's 2 million ounces here. These projects do belong together. I suspect that'll happen at some point in time. Nonetheless, it's very mineralized, good widths, good grades, interesting. And then finally, last but not least, our Morado. That was our original flagship project, which we haven't paid a lot of attention to since we did that bulk sample going back 4 or 5 years ago, where we actually produced gold out of this project. It's got about just under 500,000 ounces at a decent grade here. Obviously needs to get bigger to become interesting on a commercial scale, but is certainly a strategic asset on what I called earlier a secondary or tertiary order splay. So you can see it's just off the main break, but very close, very strategic to the Kirkland Lake camp as a whole. Won't get into the details there, but I'll just finish off with, again, this is about the value here. As you can see, Orefinders has 3 great projects, 3 significant equity positions in very interesting groups that have gone from literally nothing to big value. Orefinders is sort of fallen on hard times because Q4 was really bad and we just haven't gone out of that lull yet. We're exceptionally cheap. I think the gold market is shaping up to be quite optimistic, although expect volatility. And I think that investors can expect us to deploy that capital, this working capital and cash, intelligently, strategically, and in ways that is ultimately going to drive our share price, because that's why people buy our share price. And again, our share price is at, I don't want to say all-time low, but close to it, 5 cents, where we have been 25 cents in the not too distant future. And things can change very quickly in this industry on a single drill hole. And that's the core part of our business, which is all underlain by strong treasury investment from top tier groups like Agnico, Osisko, Eric Sprott, and a very motivated and aligned management team who has a track record of doing interesting deals and following through on what they said they were going to do. So that's it. I'll close it up with our disclaimer and offer to answer any questions to any shareholder or anybody who's interested in learning more about Orefinders. So that's it. Thank you for your time and good day.